The new CEO fired me on his very first day while the Bouquet in my hand kept shaking. Hi, my name is Arya and I'm a former business executive from Chicago. This is a story about how I learned that the knife you see coming is far less dangerous than the one you don't. Bouquet shook in my hands when he said it. Arya Miller, your time is over. First day in his suit, first command as CEO, and I was the offering. I did not flinch. I placed the blossoms, white orchids for his office, on the table between us. Their stems left water on my fingers, cold and slick like the blade sliding into my back. 2 days earlier, I had a meeting he did not know about. That was his error. I met Edward 4 years ago, back when his handshake still carried nerves instead of pride. He was just a mid-level strategist, then tucked beneath my leadership. I taught him about this corporation, the dangers hidden in the boardroom. He was sharp, driven, and bold. He used to look at me like I was his guide. Now he was trying to erase me. I noticed the change months before the vote. His eyes stopped asking questions. His calendar had shadows I was not invited into. He smiled too easily in meetings, chuckling at things I had not said. Then came the slip. His assistant forwarded me an email by mistake, a draft speech, his speech. When I take over, those 3 words stole the air from my lungs. Edward did not betray me overnight. He bled me slowly, leaked my projects, undermined my authority, courted allies in the dark, and then when the board finally handed him the crown, he turned on me without hesitation. But here's what he did not know. I saw the knife coming and I sharpened my own. The plan started with quiet. I did not fight the tide when the rumors swelled. I let him think I was tired, finished, irrelevant. I let him believe I still trusted him. 2 days before his promotion, I arranged a meeting with Charles Hunt, the investor Edward thought was firmly in his pocket. Over a quiet dinner, I slid across the table a file Edward had signed 3 months ago. A reckless acquisition deal, overvalued, fragile, and one clause buried deep that bound Edward personally to the losses if it failed. Charles' eyes sparkled. Why are you giving me this? Because loyalty deserves payment, I said. The next morning I walked into HR and signed a severance contract. One Edward had not seen. An old friend slipped it onto his desk days earlier and he had signed without reading. It guaranteed me not just pay, but retention of all company shares. He thought he was discarding me like trash. In reality, he handed me the trigger. So when he dismissed me, the flowers trembling between us, I only nodded. I understand, I said softly. I left without a word. I let him taste his triumph. The board applauded his decisive start. He believed the empire was his. The assistant burst into my apartment the next morning, breathless, cheeks flushed. Arya, you need to see this. She handed me her tablet. Stock prices in freefall, news banners screaming. Charles had leaked the acquisition deal, Edward's deal, to the press. Analysts called it reckless, catastrophic. Investors demanded answers. I sipped my coffee and let the warmth pool in my chest. The climax was not a scream or a scene. It was a meeting. 1 week later, an emergency board session. Edward entered pale, his tie loose eyes bloodshot. He tried to speak of long-term vision. No one listened. Then I entered calm, composed. Not an employee, not anymore. Just the second largest shareholder in the room. Ms. Miller, the chairman greeted. Relief spread like a current through the table. They needed stability. They needed a savior. I let the silence hang before I spoke. I believe what this company needs now is not vision, but control. Someone who understands both the blood and the bones of its structure. Edward's gaze burned into me. You planned this? I met his stare. I taught you everything you know. Not everything I know. The vote took less than an hour. Edward was stripped of authority. His personal assets bound by the failed deal. His empire turned to ash while he sat. Across from me, realizing the trap had been set long before his first day. Afterward, he cornered me in the corridor, desperation leaking through his voice. Why I admired you. I adjusted my coat, meeting his eyes one last time. You admired me until you thought you could replace me. You should have remembered who taught you how to play the game. I left him there, shaking, undone, his crown already slipping. Now the orchids he never kept still linger in my memory, pale and delicate against the dark wood of his desk. Symbols of mourning, not celebration. He thought they were a gift. They were a warning. I lost nothing that day. He lost everything. And the best part, I did not even have to raise my voice. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more, real-life experiences, filled with emotions, drama, and lessons, then don't forget to support us. Your one click means the world to us. Hit that subscribe button right now and become part of our growing family. Stay connected because every week on Home Exposed, we bring you stories that will touch your heart, make you think, and sometimes even shock you. So don't miss out. Subscribe, like, and share, only on Home Exposed.